What's up, guys? Today I want to make a quick video on why I think Prismatic Hunter is just completely broken right now and why they probably need to be nerfed, or alternatively why other classes probably need a buff or need to be looked at, particularly Titans, because Titans are having some identity issues right now. And Prismatic Hunter just makes most class functionality obsolete due to how strong the class is. But before we get into things, I do want to say I am a Hunter main. I love the Hunter class. So Hunter mains, don't go getting angry, but the way Hunter is right now, in this game, it just feels like there's no reason to play anything else or try any other Hunter builds, as they all just became obsolete due to the Prismatic subclass. So the main reason why I think Hunters are so broken right now is simply because you can essentially run the most optimal build for each encounter or activity in the entire game right now. The three builds are the best in their class and can all be ran without switching your subclass, or in most cases you don't even need to switch your weapons at all, which makes it insanely overpowered. So let's address these three builds. So the first build that I want to talk about briefly, everyone knows this build, is the Celestial Nighthawk build with Still Hunt and Golden Gun. This is one of the best DPS rotations in the entire game right now as it stands, or it's at least the easiest to use, making it one of the best boss damage builds in the game currently. It's super easy to use. This was seen in the raid if you watched the raid race. The build consists of Celestial Nighthawk and Still Hunt. That's it. That's really all you need. As long as you have a Golden Gun Super on, Still Hunt on, and your Celestial on, you can run this build. You pop Still Hunt, you pop your Golden Gun, you fire both, an insane amount of burst damage to begin with, and then you just keep firing Still Hunt, you keep racking up Golden Gun Still Hunt supers, and it just pumps out an absolute insane amount of damage. It's far ranged, it's precision based. If you have something like a div, it just works super duper easily. It's one of the easiest builds to use in the entire game, and it requires barely any effort by the actual player, which is why it's so good for boss DPS. There's no hard hitting shots, there's no buff stacking, it's just you pop your super, and as long as you're out of the well, you're pumping out full damage. It's very easy. The second build I want to address is the Hunter Grapple build. I don't know if a lot of you guys have seen this build. It's very similar to the Titan Grapple build for boss damage that was seen last season. Super insane close range DPS as long as you meet some of the requirements. This build works exactly how it used to, other than you utilizing Tether and you go invisible to proc Stylish Executioner. The only thing you guys are going to need for this build is the Grapple Navigator point for infinite grapples. You get the Catalyst for this. Then you're going to have your infinite grapple melees. You need the Syntheseps perk on a class item, 1-2 punch shotgun, Stylish Executioner, which weakens targets, and then a 3x melee buff, the shield crush fragment, and then the courage buff from the artifact. And that's pretty much it. As long as you're going invisible after every single punch, and you're proccing 1-2 punch, you have the build going. This allows for just absolutely endless melees doing absolutely tons of damage. You can see on screen for a damage test in me in one of the newest dungeons currently. It is important to note that you don't want to use combination blow, because Syntheseps and combination blow don't stack very well. It actually decreases the total multiplier of damage from Syntho. Instead of 2.65x from Syntho, you're getting 1.5 with combination blow. So it's pointless to run these two together. And that kind of leads us into the next build, is we have two of the best boss damage builds in the entire game right now off of one subclass. We have Far Range with Still Hunt and Nighthawk, and then you have Close Range Melee with the Grapple, paired with the Navigator Catalyst, which allows you to shoot grapple points for infinite melees. So the last build is the Liar's Handshake build, with preferably Spirit of Caliban or Spirit of Renewal. And so this build is very simple. It requires not much setup, you just apply the fragments, and it's one of the best ad clear and minor killing builds in the entire game right now. And you might be thinking, why do you guys show this build? It's very close range. If you're far away from something, you're probably going to end up dying. Well, here's me running through a Nightfall, 22 power levels under, solo, where I am just consistently 1 or 2 shotting champions without even stunning them. Occasionally it's a 3-shot, but I don't really die, right? You get health after you kill them. As long as you have your combination blow times 3 and you have your 1-2 punch, you're essentially just destroying absolutely everything that comes across your path. You're doing anywhere from 300,000 damage to 600,000 damage per punch. And this is even playing optimally. I was using Liar's Handshake exotic. I wasn't even using the class item. And again, like I said, you could pair it with Spirit of Caliban to get just insane ad clear. And then you could also pair it with Spirit of Renewal with a Duck Shield Grenade to get some damage resist. And this would just make you essentially unkillable. Like, it would be an absolute joke. And I was 22 power levels under. So in most activities, right, like Grandmaster, I think it's 20 power levels under. This is just an extreme example of me purposely lowering my gear to just show off how good this build is. It's some of the best neutral game, and it just destroys absolutely everything. Again, all you need for this build is 1-2 punch, Stylish Executioner, the Shield Crush Fragment, Courage, Transcendence. to proc Transference, which is another artifact buff. And again, coming back to the fact that you can use these builds without even swapping your subclass or weapons. So if I go on my Hunter right now, as you can see, I have my Liar's Handshake build on. I have the Liar's Handshake exotic with 1-2 punch like Kilos. This is one of my favorite 1-2 punch shotguns in the entire game right now due to its fast fire rate. Very easy to use. However, if I wanted to rock one of the best boss damage builds in the entire game right now, all I gotta do is switch to Golden Gun Marksman. This will slightly lower our damage as we will be missing out on the Shield Crush artifact mod, which if we have a Void subclass equipped or a Stasis subclass, super, or a Strand one, it gives us either Woven Mail, Frost Armor, or a Void Shield, which does amplify, do increased damage to our melee attacks. But overall, that's only like a 25%, 1.25x increased damage. And I was still one-shotting champions, so it's not going to really matter that much. Just for sacrificing that little bit of damage for the best boss damage build in the entire game. So we simply switch our subclass. If we want to use Still Hunt, we can just apply Still Hunt, and then just apply a 1-2 punch shotgun in the top slot. And even though this is double special has been around for a very long time. It's not that hard to utilize. As long as you have multiple special ammo finders on, it's incredibly easy to use. You can also, for good measure, put on a mod on your class item, which gives you special finisher, and you just consistently generate special ammo for your whole fire team. This does consume armor charge, but on our gloves, we have heavy-handed, and our melee final blows create orbs of power, so we're just chaining orbs of power over and over again. So it's not really an issue in terms of ammo. But there you go. You have the best ad clear and mini boss damage in the entire game with 1-2 punch and Liar's Handshake. And then you also have one of the best boss CPS builds in the entire game with Still Hunt and Golden Gun Marksman. So you can see why this is just insanely broken. And then if I want to also try out the Grapple build, this does require a bit of a switch because you need Tether. You also need, and then we just apply the Navigator. We can apply our Spirit of Synthoceps class item. And now we have, again, one of the best boss DPS builds in the entire game. So all these three builds, and mainly the Still Hunt and the Liar's Handshake build, are just insanely easy to swap to. You can run both of them at the exact same time. And it's why I think that something needs to be nerfed, because these two builds, they're just insane. You can hit over 500,000 damage almost consistently with this build per punch. So overall, I do think that Prismatic Hunter simply makes all the classes obsolete due to its insane capabilities over the other classes. And it's seriously hurting Titans, as Titans have had it rough, I feel like, over the past year. But their grapple melee damage in Banner of War was one of their strong suits. However, simply just copying this over to Hunter, obviously they don't have Banner of War, but this makes Titans lose a lot of identity. And most of their kit is now just inferior to Hunters. The whole punching aspect of Titans, Hunters are just better at it because their build requires actual charged melees, and the Hunter's build just chains it over and over again for free with their dodge. And then if you run out of your dodge and your melee, you just pop Transcendence and you have it back again. So you have it almost all the time. You use it infinitely, you don't have to preserve anything, compared to Titans where they have their 3 or 4 limited strand melees. Titans have the new Trial and Ultra Super, which isn't bad. It actually does pump out a surprising amount of damage with the Star Eater Scales class item. And they also have T-Crash, which is in a very sad state right now. It does barely any damage, to be completely honest. And Sentinel Shield is a good perk with Ursa Furiosa. I was using it in the Grandmaster Exhibition last weekend. It was incredibly strong, helped carry my teammates. But again, there's like very specific reasons to use Titan and Warlock, I feel like, right now. And I just haven't even touched them, and I normally play all 3 classes. That's it for today's video. I just want to cover why I think Prismatic Hunter makes most other classes functionality obsolete, and why they probably need to be looked at, either a buff or a nerf in some way. Balancing, again, Prismatic, we knew it was going to be OP, but I honestly did not think Hunters were going to become this strong. That's all I have for today. Peace.